Okay, thank you very much for that, Siddharth. So now that you know the 5 pillars as well as the ingredients for a successful digital transformation, let's move on to the how. So how do you go about creating a more engaging and sustainable strategy that allows for innovation? How do you delight customers in an increasingly competitive world? So what Siddharth and I noticed about most digital transformation initiatives is that not only do most people focus on the tech aspect, which is okay, let's add a mobile app here, a chatbot there, but at the end of the day, it's not natural to your stakeholders, whether it's to your internal employees or your customers. They're not used to engaging with you in that manner. So how do you go about designing that as an experience? This is where design thinking comes in. So design thinking is a process by which you and your organization, you reimagine your current processes and operations to become customer centric. So it's not just about customer is always king, but rather a radical revisiting of what you're offering to your customers, whether your customers are your employees or your suppliers or even your paying customers. So in order for you to do digital transformation successfully, digital transformation officers as well as CXOs have to have visibility on these three things, which are your actors, your processes, and your timing. So by actors, we mean those that perform actions. So your customers are actions in the way that they initiate requests, they ask availability for your products or services. Your staff and operations teams are also actors. They answer your support queries, they upsell, they manage logistics, etc. And lastly would be your timing. So measuring how long these processes take, whether the overall engagement with the customer was positive or negative, it's all crucial to design thinking. And without measuring, you can't hope to start creatively rethinking your processes, and you can't start experimenting as well. So right now on your screen, you have 3 tools that design thinking specialists use in order to do exactly that, to reimagine your customer experience and to ensure that you have more delightful interactions with your customers. So let's start with the empathy map. So an empathy map serves as a collaborative tool to discover new insights about your customers. So it can represent a group of users, such as, let's say, millennial moms or maybe middle-aged executives, etc. So you can fill up this map. So this is the map right here. So the map is there to help you step into the shoes of your customers. So forgetting what you know about your customers and to just see the world from their point of view. So you and your team discuss and note down your observations about them. You can also interview them, which would help you give a more complete picture of your customers. So you ask some key questions in this map rather are, what do they think? What do they feel? What are their priorities? What are their pains and what are their gains? So this map helps you see the world from another perspective, especially for your customers. So this is an example of a filled out map. So you and your team would collaborate on this. And this map is supposed to be kept side by side as you go through the next map, which is the customer journey map. So once you've figured out who your customers are and what they really want, their emotions, their thoughts and feelings, it's easier for you to be able to map out their journey as they avail of your products and or services. So think of the customer journey as a play being staged. So the front stage is where your daily interactions with your customers are. So your customer support, your customer success, your sales and marketing people. So those that directly face the customers or clients are what you call your front stage functions. So if your customers are your employees, then you can consider HR and IT to be your front stage actors. So the customer journey map is a visual representation of the customer's actions in order to achieve a goal. So let's say for customers of an e-commerce website, what they would want to do would be to purchase something from a website. Or if your customers are employees, how do they file leave, or how do they request for materials? So in order for you to effectively use the map, you have to list all of the touch points. So touch points are the places where your customers interact with you, whether digitally or physically. So a website is a digital touch point, whereas a phone call could be a physical touch point, or a store could be a physical touch point, or a social media ad could be a digital touch point. So the next most effective way to use the map is to also map out just one process that your customer goes through. So here we have an example on buying something from an online store. So this is just one goal that the customer is trying to do, which is to buy something. So you map it all out. So it could be a purchase request, a request for support, accreditation. And also in this customer journey map, while you fill this up, you have the empathy map with you in order for you to understand what the customer is going through as they go through the whole journey. So, for example, whether when they are in the evaluation and pre-acquisition place or stage rather, do they feel delighted, or is your website loading too slow? Is your chatbot not giving the appropriate responses? Or is your customer support or marketing team not well equipped in order for them to answer the queries properly? So from there, together with the empathy map, you can already start noting down and realizing what are the painful, quote unquote, most painful touch points of the journey. So through this method, you will not only get visibility, but also a better way to start measuring your performance against your customers' expectations. And you will even be able to discuss and evaluate previously undiscovered pain points. Now, the next map, would be the service design blueprint. So what is the service design blueprint? So the service design blueprint is an extension of the customer journey map. This one focuses on the relationship. It helps you see the relationship between your front-facing operations as well as your backstage operations. So backstage operations could be your logistics, procurement, operations, etc. in order to efficiently fulfill your customers' needs. So how seamless is it? So one sample could be, so if you see on top, you have the customer journey, and here at the bottom, you have the customer, the front-facing offices such as sales and marketing, and this is where you can map out and then measure in with which parts of your back offices or your support offices rather are not providing a good enough speed or reliability, which affects your front stage operations. So it could also mean that your post-servicing is not delightful, which leads them to not reconsider your offers because there's something with the IT department that they're not able to effectively support your customers, which in turn affects your sales and marketing, which is why they're not able to reach out to your customers. So with all of these, I'd also like to ask another question to those in the webinar. So what is the most challenging aspect in doing digital transformation for your organization? So it's in the polls right there. So what's the most challenging aspect of digital transformation for you? Is it the lack of resources or expertise? Is the cost of acquiring new systems or let's say replacing your core systems too difficult? You don't know where to start. So hopefully these tools can help you get started on your digital transformation journey. Okay. Okay, we'll be closing the poll in a bit. All right, thank you very much for your responses. So a majority of the poll respondents said that there is a lack of resources or expertise. And number two would be the cost of acquiring new systems. And that's very understandable. Most of the newest or let's say high-end or the most quote-unquote complete systems are quite expensive, such as let's say SAP or Oracle. In order for you to get a better understanding of your customers, etc. But hopefully these tools, and with what Siddharth has mentioned earlier about gaining quick wins, would help you kickstart your journey on digital transformation. So the empathy map, the customer journey map, and the service design blueprint are powerful tools that will help you figure out what are the most pressing items for you to be able to that you can transform, which has an immediate impact and effect on the whole organization through quick wins.